Hey, what is poppin', guys? This is Mr. Vidra here today with Mr. Harris, and our guest today is Mr. Renfro, and this is the PunchPassPodcast.
What's up, guys?
How are we?
So, Mr. Harris, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, Mr. Vidra. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Now, I've got some exciting news here before we get to Mr. Renfro. Mr. Vidra had his wedding ceremony the other day, so everyone go ahead and give him a round of applause just kind of there. That was really exciting. There we go.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Crowd goes wild.
All right. Sorry, Mr. Vidra, I had to throw you under the bus.
Oh, thanks. There. I appreciate it. So, let's introduce our guest real quick. Mr. Renfro.
How's it going?
Tell us about yourself.
I am a teenager, 17 years old. I work with Mr. Harris and Mr. Vidra at Precision Martial Arts. I am a first-degree black belt. I am ranked number 39 in the studio, and I'm super stoked to be on this podcast.
That's your Dawn. It's 39?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Sounds great. And you have some prepared topics that you want to talk about today.
Yes.
I understand that you have something you want to go over from the last podcast.
Yeah.
That you wanted to debate, right?
Yeah. I kind of disagreed with your guys' opinion on that topic.
We'll
All
get
right.
to that in a minute.
Okay.
First thing I have is the word of the week.
Yes, word of the week. What are we doing today?
Vindicate! Vindicate! It is to clear from blame or suspicion. Or as Captain Holt would say, Vindication! No? No one's ever
I
seen
don't know who
Brooklyn
Captain
Nine-Nine?
Holt is. Oh, I've seen Captain Holt. Yeah, I know who that is.
It's a great
episode.
It's a great episode.
It's a good TV show.
I'm gonna see if I can find it, and I'm gonna put it on our Facebook. Just that clip of him saying vindication.
Sounds like a good clip.
So again, vindicate is to clear from blame or suspicion. It's a pretty cool one.
I like it. It's very good, and I think it's nice, especially when someone else kind of puts in that vindication. When I think of the word vindication, I mostly think about other people clearing your name. So, a lot of people coming around with cheating scandals and stuff like that. So it's nice to get some vindication that they were either innocent or not.
Vindication!
I know why you picked that as the word of the week this week.
It's a fun word to say.
It is a fun word to say.
It is a very enjoyable
Teat-to-tate?
word. Teat-to-tate is still one of my favorite words that we've ever had on this podcast.
That is a great one.
Gotta say it.
Goldilocks?
Goldilocks. It's good stuff, good stuff.
Okay, so we have some questions that we want to ask Mr. Renfro before we go ahead and get started.
All right, so
On other topics?
Being a martial arts instructor, is a very, very important part of life. You're building up kids, you're creating future black belts and stuff like that. So I do want to ask, though, what else do you kind of want to do in your life? Me and Mr. Vidra, obviously, we're doing our martial arts stuff, but we're trying to get a podcast up and going. I want to do, Twitch streaming, Mr. Vidra.
We're trying to.
Yeah.
I want to do Twitch streaming. I think that would be fun. I want to put some videos on YouTube, me doing some gaming. Or
Yeah,
even
awesome.
when we get into our groups, we could do some
Absolutely, do some board game live
collaboration
stuff.
videos.
So, Mr. Renfro, anything else you want to do with your life other than instruct?
I really like instructing. So, going on and being a teacher, maybe. Yeah, I like
good one.
that. To teach, or I like to learn about history and discuss history with other people. So, a history teacher would be really cool.
So do you like teaching with kids, or do you just like teaching in general? Like, what would be your target teach group?
Well, for like primary education, I would have to go over all the stuff, like math, science, everything, and I don't really want to do that. I kind of want to just focus on history, and middle schoolers are the worst. I'm sorry, any middle schoolers out there, but you're the worst. Okay.
It's when they start getting that attitude. They want to start talking back, or they have like all the funny, quote unquote, funny jokes that they like to do, like
Exactly.
your mom. I hate that so much. Every other word, your
Exactly.
mom.
Yeah, so probably like high schoolers, but not freshmen, because freshmen are still the worst. But like sophomores,
I can tell you right
juniors.
now,
They're barely getting out of that stage.
I love my teens. I love my demo team. but they single-handedly age me more than anyone else. I've told Mr. Renfro that 100 times. He's also on my demo team, you guys, by the way, that Precision X team I've mentioned a couple times. But yeah, I was like, the 8 to 12-year-olds, I'm like, whoo, whatever. I get into that teen class and my gray hairs start showing. That's why I dye my hair. I've got to keep those gray hairs out from people seeing them. So yeah. All right. So that's exciting. Teaching is definitely a noble endeavor, and there's a lot of respect. Not a lot of money, but a lot of respect in my mind to the people that get out there and they give their time to develop the future. You can, if you're a scientist, you're putting things into the future, but no one really develops the future quite like teachers and really establishes a good presence for our future in society. So that's a very noble pursuit. What is a goal of yours? It could be a martial arts goal, it could be a life goal, it could be an instructing goal, but if you could get something, one big goal that you want to achieve, what would that be?
Wait, did we decide what age group he wants to teach?
High school.
Okay,
high school, yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
So I actually have sort of two. I have one more that's like long term and one more that's like short term. My short term one is to land my backflip. Mr. Moody's been helping me a little bit with that one. I've gotten it over his shoulder fairly
well. I remember I was talking to you about it the other day. Yeah, you said that you were able to almost land it.
Yeah.
Just going over his shoulder. Mm-hmm. But then when you were doing it on your own, you were almost landing on your knees.
Yeah. So yeah, almost there. And then a long-term goal is to become lead instructor. Take these guys' job. So,
oh snap!
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm coming for you.
Hey, that's good. We need that because if you take our position, we can move up higher, so that we can get more students like you to, fill in that position for head instructors, lead instructors. We want some strong instructors.
The more ambitious people we have, the more studios we can open, and the more studios we open, the more people see martial arts, and the more people see martial arts, the better the world becomes.
We're gonna dominate the world of martial arts.
Hey, you know what?
And then we can raise an army and conquer the entire world.
Oh my gosh.
A world full of black belts is a perfect world.
True.
I feel like there'd be a lot of fighting. Or maybe there wouldn't be any fighting.
There wouldn't be any fighting.
There wouldn't be
black
any
belts
fighting.
know how to control themselves.
That's true.
So, and then, imagine all the black belts. Every martial arts school I know does some sort of anti-bullying thing. So if everyone was a black belt walking around looking out for bullies, be a very safe place. All right, Mr. Renfro?
Yes, sir.
Next question here. In your instructing and kind of in your life, we have a lot of challenges and we have a lot of successes. Challenges, come from when we're not fully prepared or we're not ready. We haven't learned what we need to learn yet. But success comes from breaking past that challenge, learning and pushing past and striving to be a better person. So, what is a success that you feel you've achieved?
Well, this summer, we do our summer camp every single summer, and yeah, I've been running my group really well. Most of the students have been able to pay attention to me. They've been doing really, really awesome. So I would consider that a success. And then also in March during our summer break from school, we had a spring break camp, and that is our rank up camp where students get another belt as long as they pass that part of the camp. And so I was able to run that class. It was 5 classes, 1 class a day for like 5 hours every day. And so I was able to run that class with like 20 students in it for 5 hours every day for 5 days. And so that's another huge success that I've come through.
Yeah, I definitely have to give you a shout out for this last week of a summer camp that we've had. You were able to take a huge group of students and be able to work with them really well. I saw you out there doing the bow staffs. You were putting everyone together with that form, and then getting all the students of multiple ages that you had. What were the age groups that you guys?
I had 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds.
You had 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds, and then you took some of the younger kids, didn't you?
Yeah.
You took some of the 5-year-olds from the other group that were kind of misbehaving.
Yep.
And you turned that energy that they had and put it into training on the bow staff, and it looked fantastic. Yeah, you had everyone working together, creating that form, and just want to give you a shout out for that. Nice job on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I know. Coming in, wasn't there for the Friday class, but I came in on Tuesday, and the first thing our manager had to say was that Mr. Renfro was really killing his group. She didn't say anything about Mr. Vidra, but we expect Mr. Vidra to kind of just control whatever group. But we were really impressed in Mr. Vidra Mr. Renfro being one of the younger instructors. I don't want to say junior instructor because he's not. He's a full-fledged instructor. But he wasn't a senior instructor, but she was just really impressed and blown away by how well he controlled it. Mm-hmm. I remember he was in the far room, and on my first day I walked through, and it's like super loud and the kids are all having fun, and then all of a sudden I walk into Mr. Renfro's group and it's like an entirely different section. It's just quiet. All the kids are like, "Mr. Harris, look at this picture I drew." And then I'm just getting shown pictures. They're all sitting, so it was really well controlled and really, 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 really impressive. So,
what kind of advice do you have for getting a group of kids, getting a group of students to follow along with the activity? What kind of expectations you set in?
Well, first of all, you have to be excited about what you're going to do. If you're not excited about what you're going to do, no one else is going to be excited.
Absolutely.
Because if you're like, "Okay, guys, let's go play this game," all the students are just going to be like, "No." If you're not excited about it, why should we be excited about it? If you're not having fun, they're not having fun. So first of all, you have to have fun, have to be excited. Second of all, Master G, our instructor, sort of says this a lot, but you have to be kind of like a duck on water. Right, so if you ever see a duck, he's, floating along on the surface, and it looks nice and calm. But if you go underneath the surface, his feet are paddling super duper hard, going fast, right? And so, but on the surface, all you see is just nice and cool and calm. So that's what you have to be on the surface. You have to be nice, cool, calm. Even when they're misbehaving, you have to be super calm, super polite. Even whenever they say, "I hate you," which I have had multiple times this last week. You have to be super duper calm, even if inside, you're really angry and really frustrated. You just have to show that calm presence.
You've never seen a duck wet either.
Exactly.
Those water beads just roll right off.
Yeah, I love the duck analogy. Obviously, we all work with Master G, so we've heard it quite a few times. But when you're working with kids, you got to understand that you're an adult. They're a kid, and you can't let what they say get to you. I've had kids, "I hate you, I don't want to be at this camp anymore," and then 2 minutes later they're showing me a picture and begging me to go play games with them because, it's just, they get riled up and they just lash out in the way that they want to, and if you feed off of that energy and you get upset at them, then you've created permanent damage in that relationship with that student. So you've got to be able to go, whatever, you say that, why are you saying that? Let's talk about this. Let's redirect and maybe talk about something else. Tell me about your favorite video game or your favorite thing to do during your
downtime,
and then, because within 2 to 3 minutes, 4 minutes, that kid is not going to remember what they said to you, so you really can't let that just bug you the whole time, because then you're going to treat that kid differently, and you've lost a student. So, very impressive. I have heard that you're doing pretty good on keeping your plans written. So, I know that you don't come in there with a two-step plan, which for those who don't know, a two-step is where you just make it up on the fly. So I've heard that you're really good about keeping plans and keeping good notes and preparing and creating some really good games. Do you think that helps you?
Absolutely. It's a lot of help to have what I'm going to do written down on a piece of paper so that I don't have to come up with what I'm going to do on the fly. I can just look at the paper, be like, "Oh, we're going to play, tag." And then if that doesn't work, I always have a backup. So, if tag doesn't work, then we're going to play, duck, duck, goose or something like that. So always having a backup plan is very important. And also, One more thing that is very, very helpful whenever using students is having a powerful, loud voice, because sometimes whenever people try and talk to students, they just don't have that deep resonating voice that just booms throughout the studio. Whereas, people like me, Mr. Vidra, Mr. Harris, and our other instructors who have practiced our booming voice, who have practiced,
Being able to project.
Exactly, projecting our voice around the studio. That is also a very big help, so that everyone can actually hear you and know what you want from them.
Yeah, I was talking with someone at the Maya conference in 2018, and he wasn't a speaker or anything like that, and he was telling a story about how he had a kid come up and say, or a younger instructor, he's like, doesn't matter the building, but if an instructor's in the building and they want you to know they're there, you'll know. Because I could be in IKEA, a massive store, and if I want everyone to know I'm in that store, I could let everyone know I'm in that store. So having that really good projecting voice just really helps, especially when you've got 20, 30 kids that you've got to be louder than no matter what. Even if they're not talking, the amount of just movement that a kid's going to do is going to create a lot of noise.
Right.
So you've really got to be able to project. Okay, Mr. Infro. So we talked about successes. Now, successes we know are bred from challenges, right? You can't succeed if you don't challenge yourself.
Bread.
So,
Butter.
Toast.
Sorry.
I don't know how to respond to that. All right. So, what is one of your challenges that you think you're facing right now that you would like to succeed on?
Right now,
It could be one that you think is going to pop up in the future, or I know that summer camp's going on, so your challenges might have changed from your normal courses and classes, but just a challenge, something that you want to push past and succeed through.
Well, I mean, it's usually pretty easy to control the students early in the morning whenever I first get there, because I have my batteries full. My batteries are recharged from my sleeping, and then I come in and I'm ready to go. And then just later on in the day, as I become that duck and I have to paddle harder and harder. It gets harder and I start to sink a little bit. But that's kind of a challenge, is that just trying to keep that positive duck, that calm exterior, and just not get angry at all, and just, because sometimes I get really upset whenever they're being disrespectful and whatnot, but, just have to keep that calm exterior, because if you keep a calm exterior, the students are going to notice, and they will actually respect you more if you stay calm.
You mentioned recharging your batteries and getting your sleep. How much sleep is enough sleep to recharge your batteries?
It depends on the person. I need a lot of sleep to recharge my batteries. I know Mr. Harris doesn't really sleep that much, and he turns out fine every day. But yeah, I need 6 to 8 hours of sleep minimum. If I can get more than that, it's great, but yeah, I usually need quite a bit of sleep to recharge my batteries.
I've been running off of maybe 5 hours of sleep each day. I feel like I truly need 9, maybe 10 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
I desperately want 9 to 10 hours of sleep. You know what I mean? To be able to recharge my batteries.
I started forcing myself a bit ago to get 8 hours of sleep, because I was like, everyone's like, 8 hours is, you need 8 hours. You gotta have 8 hours. That's what you do. But I'd fall asleep. I'd set my alarm, get 8 hours. I'd always wake up tired. So I was like, maybe I need 9 hours. I'd always wake up tired, exhausted. But whenever I'm waking up after 5 hours, I feel fresh, ready to go, ready to experience. But if you think about it, and this is personally my opinion, so I know people are going to disagree with me, but if I could get rid of sleep entirely, I would.
What?
True.
I would never sleep again if I could. That's 8 hours of time that you're not doing anything.
Yes, but you need your body to recharge. You need it to regain that energy because you're using it throughout the day. You're pushing your muscles, and you need that rest.
No, I agree. If I could get everything that sleep gave you from not sleeping,
Just like in a pill.
yeah, I would never sleep again. But, obviously, knowing a lot about fitness, you know that you need to sleep to build the muscle. That's when your body builds muscle. That's when your body really starts to burn and process your fat, heal. It's where most things happen. So good sleep is good, but I don't know. I don't like it.
I think as long as you're staying on a regular schedule, your body will adjust. So if you're going to sleep at the same time, you're waking up at the same time, your body will adjust to it.
Yeah, you develop a natural circadian rhythm, which is the rhythm of when you wake up and go to sleep, and your body, adjusts to that, and that becomes your norm. Even if you go from a lot of sleep to a little bit of sleep, if you take enough time, your body will adjust and make that change to where that becomes the norm for it.
Agreed. I don't know. I feel way more awake after 5 hours than I do from 8 hours. Well, that was some really insightful stuff, Mr. Renfro.
Thank you.
Thank you for indulging us and talking with us on that stuff here.
You're welcome.
Let's go ahead and let's dive into some of our topics here. So let's just start. Let's get it out of the way. So I know that you had something to say about our transgender conversation.
Oh, goodness.
Yes.
And I know that Miss Michelle had something to say. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hear from Miss Michelle because she's super insightful.
I wish Miss Michelle was here. That'd be so funny. Or we could phone her in or something. So she wrote a pretty good comment on the last week's podcast. And as far as participation goes, martial arts is generally heavily endorsed inclusively on male and female. That should include transgender and other gender identities. In terms of competition, that does complicate matters a great deal since fairness must be considered. She doesn't think that the level of transition is a good measure, however, since many of transgender people don't ever fully transition medically. So there's a clear answer. So there isn't really a clear answer since each transgender person is pretty much a unique case. And I can totally agree with that. It's just really difficult to really choose a side on that one because it isn't. Everyone's really unique.
I will say I do fairly stick to my guns. I personally, if you identify as something, I will refer to you by the pronouns that you have identified by.
I'm an Apache helicopter.
All right, Mr. Vidra, I don't know what the pronoun for Apache helicopter is, but...
Call me Patchy.
All right, Patchy. So, jeez. I'm, as far as competitive stations go, I feel like there needs to just be a scientifically based metric. And I was like, science and English and science and society, I feel like are two separate sides to a coin. And to limit science by society is not, I feel like, a helpful way. Science speaks a different language than society. So I think when it comes to competition, as soon as your body goes through changes, that's when you can compete in that changed field. Personally, how I feel.
You know what? Forget all the gender stuff. Forget all that stuff. When you enter in the ring, your skill is what matters. Put it all out on the mat.
That depends on the
You know
sport,
what else
though.
matters?
We'll just go based on UFC
Muscle
fighting.
development.
Exactly.
Okay, well, if you hop out there and someone that's 5'2" and they identify as a boy that was a girl, and you wreck them, they put their skill on the mat, you put your skill on the mat. Maybe
Right.
it goes by weight class now.
Okay, but even weight class, you know, Mr. Vidra, I'm gonna estimate and say 170 for your weight.
You
Right.
think I'm 170?
Something like that.
Hey, that's a compliment.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
All right. So would you feel comfortable going up against a woman who weighs 170 pounds? Would you feel like you guys are evenly matched?
If I'm in there to compete,
Would you feel that that is an even matchup? That only skill would make or break your matchup.
that's hard. That's hard. Because I feel like I'm gonna be better than everybody.
It's like, it's not a fair matchup. It doesn't matter.
It's not a fair matchup because I'm just gonna own you.
No, Mr. Vidra.
No, for real. I think there are women that can like best men. I totally think there are, and I know a lot of people will say there's muscle deficiency or women don't have enough muscle. They can't compete. Whatever with men, they still have the speed. They can still hit hard. And if they feel confident enough to go against a guy, I don't think we should stop them.
I don't. Yeah,
Go
I
for
agree.
it.
I don't.
Yeah.
You can beat him. If you can't, hey, good job. Like, good on you for trying that. That was awesome.
If you personally want to go up into that,
I'll fight a
thing,
horse.
that makes sense. But now we're talking about professional women UFC versus professional men UFC. So the conversation was transgender just competing in a whole in martial arts-based sports, right? So we're not just talking UFC. We're not just talking hand-to-hand combat.
Right.
MMA. We're now talking weapons. We're talking grappling. We're talking sparring. We're talking Muay Thai. We're talking all these competitive sports that have the ring of martial arts. They're all in
What's
the
gender
ring of
have to
martial
do
arts.
with if they're doing weapons?
Well, there's certain things that gender wouldn't matter. You know, weapons.
Forms is
And
definitely they would be
forms.
even.
yeah.
It really doesn't matter in those.
That's like saying it's unfair because women are more flexible. Men can be just as flexible.
No, absolutely. I'm agreeing with you.
No,
As far as weapons
I'm
go.
arguing.
But
Debating,
No.
Mr. Vidra.
Debating, Mr. Vidra.
Debating.
But
No, yeah, I agree.
there's certain sports that absolutely it's like gender really does not play in a role. You know, I have kids in my demo team. My most flexible kid in my demo team is a boy.
Okay, so in your opinion, what sport would gender count?
Definitely MMA, UFC,
Contact sport.
Muay Thai, BJJ.
I don't think BJJ.
I don't
And a lot of
think
the
BJJ
contact
as
ones.
much. I think BJJ to a certain extent, but BJJ is more fair with the weight class because in BJJ, technique is so much more important than weight.
Absolutely.
But then at that point, you could make. Then weren't we making that same argument as far as MMA, or that same point as far as MMA? But it's muscle mass has something to do with it, and the development of muscle has something to do with it.
Right.
Even like let's say, it's weight classed. Well, muscle fatigues differently based on genders.
So what happens if they can overcome it?
Then that's great.
That's great. Then they can compete?
Absolutely.
Honestly,
I'm not saying they can't compete with each other,
No.
but I'm saying that we need a metric as to what constitutes you being allowed to compete in men's sports as a transgender and what allows you to compete in women's sport as a transgender. If I tomorrow was like, I'm trans female, which I'm not going to do because I'm not, and but then
He'll think
would
about
I
it.
then just immediately be allowed to fight in Muay Thai at my age? Class against women? Yeah,
Because you...
because I now identify. And let's say I fully am transgender. I am actually transgender, and I just say tomorrow I identify as a woman. Would I now be allowed to fight in women's brackets, or would you want
You haven't
some
made
level
any of them-
changes for me?
You haven't made any of the medical changes.
Nothing.
No groin, no
No.
breasts or anything.
I am a no estrogen therapies, no changing or hormone imbalancing. I have not
Just
gotten any
mentally,
surgery.
you're like, I am now a
the
female.
way I am today, except for a mental, the mental changes that go through. that one goes through.
Does that count?
I guess not mental changes because they're generally born in that mental state. So not a mental change, but let's say transgender.
The identity
The way
change.
I am now, but I have an identity change.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Assuming I'm fully transgender, I fully am, right, but I have not gone through any physical changes whatsoever. Would I be allowed to compete in female?
I don't
Sports
think
right
so.
off the
I don't
bat.
think that's fair.
Yeah. So that's kind of my argument then is that I would have to have gone through some description of medical
And how much is enough?
change. And what is considered enough? Is just going through hormone therapies enough? I don't think that the equipment downstairs should be a determinant because that doesn't determine muscle building and muscle
Right,
structure.
that has nothing to do with it.
If I have male or female genitalia, then I am going to have male or female genitalia. But if I have male genitalia and undergoing estrogen therapy, then my muscle will start developing like a female. So at that point, I personally think it's once you start going through the therapies of hormones that you can compete in the other gender's sport.
Does that change your muscle?
It'll change the way it develops muscle.
Okay. What do you think, Mr. Renfro? I know you want to debate. I want to argue. Let's do
So,
this.
so my biggest problem.
Debate, not argue.
I want to debate.
My biggest problem with transgender in sports is specifically male going into becoming a female. That is my biggest problem because specifically in contact sports, because it's just not fair for someone who has lived for however long, let's say 30 years, as a man who has, had their life as technically a man, building up muscle density as a man, going through natural testosterone and stuff like that, to go up against a woman who doesn't have as much testosterone, who doesn't have as much muscle density, who doesn't have as much fast twitch muscle fibers, doesn't have as much bone density, has less lung capacity, and has all these different things that's going against them, specifically because they were born as a female going up against a male. Let's take MMA. This actually happened in an MMA ring. It wasn't UFC, but it was UFC like. I don't remember the exact company, but there was a woman.
We'll find out the company and post it.
Okay. There was a woman, born as a woman, still a woman, named Ashley Evans Smith, who went up against a man, transitioned into a woman. I forget her name, but man transitioned into a woman.
Was it Ashley Smith?
No, Ashley Evans Smith was the woman that went up against.
Against
person.
the transgender?
Yes.
Okay.
And the transgender had won their last 3 fights by knockout
Nice.
in the first round
Okay.
because they had more muscle density and they were just able to clobber the females they were going up against.
Okay.
And then Ashley Evans Smith came and she got her bell rung, but she was still able to win by jiu-jitsu, by tap out, I believe.
That's that technique.
Yes. So that's why I believe that jiu-jitsu, the differences start to lower and they start to become a little bit more even of a matchup.
I feel
as far
like
as jiu-jitsu.
that's a really good point. I feel like when you come in there and you're not just going in there to fight, you're just like, okay, I got 2 meat hands and we're just gonna meat hand it. We're gonna go at each other. We're just gonna fight. Instead, it sounds like Ashley Smith went in there with a game plan. Okay, obviously, I cannot go toe-to-toe with this person. They're going to clock me. They're going to take me out, just like they did with the last 3 people. So how am I going to get around that? And it sounds like she did it. That's awesome.
And then, but that story also speaks to scale of one of the issues is that this guy comes in and he just cleans house, first round knockouts for 3 whole rounds before this person. I will agree with you guys that jiu-jitsu seems to level the playing ground, but it could also, have been that this person didn't practice the jiu-jitsu side because they were so confident they were going to win by knockout.
They're just
in all
like,
their
I'm
first
bigger,
rounds.
I can just knock him out.
So you're running into that that overconfidence now, and then that's when Ashley is like, well, I'm going to play this on the ground. We're even on the ground. It's better on the ground. I have a better chance, so I'm going to really work my ground game. So that comes into being a very active, intelligent fighter, researching your opponent and not just doing that. But the fact that this fighter is able to win 3 whole rounds, knockouts in round 1, it's at that point, then when does the cutoff happen, and what sports are cut off?
Right.
What sports are you just absolutely, it doesn't matter, man versus female, you guys can just compete in
Bowling.
this sport?
So
Absolutely bowling.
I have another thing. So you're talking about you're 30 years old, then you decide that you want to become a woman.
Right.
You spent that whole time, maybe you were in the gym and you got bulked up. Now you're big, and you decide, okay, I want to be a woman. For whatever reason. Okay? What if it was the opposite? What if that you were scrawny, maybe you didn't have a very good muscle tone, you didn't build muscle a whole lot, and then you want to switch over to being a woman? Are they both on the same scale? The person that did the lifting and the person that didn't do the lifting, and then they both changed to women. Are they both categorized the same when looking into competing with females?
I think probably not. And that's why I really like Miss Michelle's comment is just, it really might just come down to a person-on-person basis.
Right. They may have to go through some kind of physical or something that allows them to compete.
It really might just come down to that, because it's just so, how do you determine what constitutes as a fair fight in these rings? Because if you have, and I'm fully under the idea that no one just woke up one day and was like, I'm transgender now. I do believe that a lot of people came out as transgenders at 40 and 50 plus because they were raised in a time period where you didn't do that. That was transgender. Not that it didn't exist, but that it had no societal presence as far as mainstream. Thank you, Internet, for allowing these cultures to come out and allowing people to feel more comfortable in their own skin. And I do love that, but that's why I think there just needs to be a purely scientific measure. And if you meet this measure, you will compete in this field, and if you meet this measure, you compete in this. And it would really have to come out to each person, because then at that point you're talking weight classes and what measurements are constructed in each weight class. And
so would it break the game? So it's like no matter what, whether you're female or you're male, you have to go and do a physical. You have to meet some kind of standards to be put into another weight class, another class, all entirely just based on all these stats. Where then it's fair for all of you to compete.
I think it probably would. I think
that's a lot of work.
Honestly, would.
Very complicated.
It is. It's very complicated.
Well, and it seems like a lot of work now, but calculating pi to the 100 millionth decimal place seemed like a hard thing 20, 40 years ago, and now we can do it in a matter of milliseconds. So
just at Google. Ask Google or ask Alexa.
Yeah, I mean, and Alexa will calculate it in half a second. So
she won't say it in half a second, though.
No, it'll take it way longer than that. But it's right now we're still, information and technology moves so fast, and society changes so fast. That's why lifespan of memes and lifespan of pop culture only lasts 6 months nowadays. Whereas when I was younger, something would be popular and it'd be popular for a year. But with the internet, things move by so fast, and
now it's just blasted everywhere, and everyone's like, all right, I'm tired of it.
I think the problem is society, and a lot of things just hang on and they really move back. So society is skyrocketing, and they're moving at 100 miles an hour, whereas everything else is moving at 20 miles an hour. So there's this massive overlay, and I don't think that we're fully ready for transgender in sport, not that it shouldn't be allowed, but I think that we need to accept that transgenderism is a real thing, and we need to put in the facilities and hire the people and the scientists and the physical scientists to start creating those rules and start allowing for fair competition, because it's not fair for a woman fighter who has been working insanely hard to just get placed in a fight against a transgender woman, you know, and then loses the fight just because of muscle mass and not fair rules. So I firmly think transgender in sports should be allowed, but I think it should be
there should be a lot of regulations, a lot of rules.
And sports already have so much regulations.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at MMA and a lot of people that are untrained think that you just get in there and you beat the crap out of someone. It's like, no, there's a lot of rules. You can hit certain ways, you can't hit certain ways, you have to hit certain areas, you can't hit certain other areas. It's, you know, there are rules that get put into it. So it's...
Just look at the rules in IBJJF. It's just jiu-jitsu. And the rules are ridiculous. Like, they're just so many pages. 50 pages. It's like a book of rules.
I'm reading through the rules for my Muay Thai fighters right now, and I'm like, geez, man. It's like you can do certain kicks, but certain kicks you can't do, but certain kicks you can do to this area, but you can't do those kicks to this area. And you can throw these, but you can't throw these, but you can only throw these if you're doing this. And I'm like, ooh, you know, it's...
And it makes sense because it's all in the pursuit of fairness and just going for skill to win the match.
Yeah, you're not allowed to just cheap shot or do stuff that we know is effective. All of it's effective, but we know is effective to the point that it's just whoever lands this hit first. You know, if male MMA were allowed, or MMA fighters were allowed to throw groin shots, it would be a fight of who can kick the groin first.
For real.
Because that would just be the end of the fight. The dude's incapacitated. What are you going to do? I was like, I mean, you definitely a minimum get 2 to 3, 4, 5 seconds of time to just wail on this guy, and at that point, they're gone.
Yeah.
You know? So
have you seen some of those MMA refs? They are crazy insane, like watching super close. There was a UFC fight. I don't remember who it was or what UFC it was, but there was a UFC fight and someone got the other guy into an arm bar and he didn't tap. So the guy ended up breaking his arm. He broke his radius, the top bone on your forearm. So he ended up breaking that, and like a split second after it broke, the ref was able to see it, and he broke up the match. And everyone was really upset at the ref and started booing the ref because he didn't tap. So he didn't lose, but the ref called the match because his arm was broken. Yeah. And so... But, like, if the ref had waited another second, his ulna would have been broken, too, and he would have been out for longer.
And it would have caused permanent damage.
So, I mean, those UFC refs are really well-trained, and they're
key
crazy.
Is just stop arguing with refs.
Yeah.
Don't argue with ref.
And especially,
we should go to a ref camp.
Keep in mind, the people that you see in the rings, the refs, they don't generally determine the scores of the fights. When you go to a Muay Thai match, there are 3 judges, 1 guy in the ring. That guy in the ring's only job is to maintain safety. He doesn't determine the fight unless it's by knockout or tap or TKOs. But he doesn't determine the points. He doesn't determine who won the round. He doesn't determine anything. His only job is to save it. So if he stops a match, it's because he thinks the match is dangerous. So don't boo a ref. Just don't boo a ref.
Exactly.
You know? It's one of my most irritating things when people start getting mad at the ref and they're like, what are you doing? What's that call? You know, it's just...
That's one of the first things that they say before they start the match is, listen to what I say, don't argue.
Yeah. If I say it, I meant it. Don't.
I ain't taking it back.
Absolutely.
Okay, do we have any other questions for Mr. Renfro?
I think we're pretty good on the
Okay, before we get into your topics
there, so
I want to throw in a tricking topic real quick. I have this video that I want to post up there. It's these 2 guys, Plane Zero, did a tricking video, and it's just like a trick sequence that I think would be pretty cool. It's a pretty simple one, so everyone at home, you guys can go ahead and try it. Show us it at the studios, me and Mr. Harris. Hopefully we can get Mr. Renfro and some of the other instructors to go ahead and get this combo down. So they go over a crescent kick. You're going from a tornado kick to a scoop to a butterfly kick or a aerial variation on it, and you guys will be able to see it. I believe it's about 10 minutes long, the video is, and they kind of fully break down each thing. What I want to see is I want people to think of some more trick combinations. So today I'm going to be thinking about what other combinations can we put together, and maybe we can start a video, or we'll show you guys at the studio, or you guys come up with a combination and you guys tell us about it. You show us it. We'll see if we can get everyone in on it, because I think these are really cool.
Some good sources if you're looking and you really want to take this challenge serious here. Tyler Weaver.
Tyler Weaver's great.
I know Hyper is not quite in the limelight as much as they are now, but definitely Hyper guys. Any of the Hyper guys, they know a lot of their tricking stuff.
As they were.
What's up?
They used to be in the limelight?
Yeah, it's more Team Paul Mitchell now.
Okay, yeah.
They're spotlight now, but Hyper's still big. I still love them, you know. XMA guys, Mike Chat, absolutely great source for tricking. And then I mentioned Team Paul Mitchell, but they're really killing it right now. So look up any of them their stuff. They'll have great tricking ideas and techniques and understanding on it. You know, just YouTube. It's good stuff. Absolutely. No, I love tricking. It's one of my favorite martial arts.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting back into shape so I can trick more.
you gotta go off that gymnastics as well.
Absolutely.
Mr. Renfro, you had a topic that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, so you guys have talked about your favorite video games. So I want to talk about another topic for you guys' like favorite stuff. So, what kind of music do you guys like? I'm very curious because I have kind of a weird taste for my generation, you know. Most of my generation likes, you know, the stuff that's coming out now where it's like every song is exactly the same.
90% of songs are written by the same guy.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
The millennial whoop.
Yep, pretty much, exactly. Whereas, like, you know, I can kind of get behind some of those songs, but, like, not that much. I personally, I like more, like, 2000s rock and metal and stuff like that. The kind of songs that my brother used to listen to. He kind of always listened to those songs, so, yeah.
Okay, so give us some examples. What kind of bands?
Oh goodness. I love Rise Against. They're like super good. I love that. I love their music. I love By Rise Against. I like Savior. I like Prayer of the Refugee, and then Hero of War is my all-time favorite.
And these are songs by Rise Against?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see Mr. Harris. He's going crazy over there. Mr. Harris, what do you think of my songs?
I like them. I like Rise Against.
All right. Cool.
So, those who know me know that I like a particular type of music. Not a lot of other people like it, but yeah, I like metal, I like screamo, and I like a lot of different facets inside of metal. So, melodical metal, early 2000s, late 2000s metals. I like, you know, a bunch of different types of metals. That, you know, I'm not going to go into it. It's pretty sophisticated.
Zinc, copper, iron.
Yeah.
Like those kind of metals?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Aluminum.
One band that I'm currently repping in my shirt right now is called Beyond Our Suffering. It's actually, the drummer is one of my friends, so shout out to them. They're just getting started. They put their first album out, and they had their first concert, so it's pretty
awesome.
Good. You know, also, if you don't check out K-pop,
Gross.
you should get up in there.
Gross.
It's good.
Gross.
K-pop's kind of, it's okay.
It's super good.
I don't like it at all.
Rings of Saturn.
Is it a song?
It's a band.
Angel Voices.
I haven't heard of them. Are they good?
No,
Is
it's
that
a
a band?
song.
Oh.
It's a long song.
No, check out. I could go on for hours. Alice, Anna, Amity Affliction, Attack, August Burns Red, Awake at Last, Bayside, Beartooth, you know, Bless the Fall.
Oh, Bless the Fall. I like them.
Born of Osiris, Breaking Benjamin,
We Come as
Breaking
Romans.
Benjamin.
Charlatans. Oh yeah, Chiodos.
Oh, I love Cheetos. I haven't listened to
really?
Cheetos in forever.
I love Chiodos too. They're so good. A Day to Remember.
A Day to Remember is
I
really
went to a
good.
concert. 4 people, all of them pretty big names. First one was good. Last one was good. Second 2, I don't like. But yeah,
They had A Day to Remember.
Oh jeez. Devil Wears Prada
Okay.
opening into Falling in Reverse,
Oh, I like Falling in Reverse a
which
lot.
I don't like.
You don't like Falling in Reverse?
Absolutely not. Into
Why?
Papa Roach,
Papa Roach.
Oh,
who
Papa
I
Roach.
really hate.
Why?
How?
Into
They're so good.
A Day to Remember.
A Day to Remember.
Nice.
Yeah, that was worth it. I don't know how people went to a metal concert and were like, "Oh yeah, dude, Falling in Reverse is so much better than Devil Wears Prada." All you new age kids, man, get out of here.
I like Falling in Reverse.
Devil Wears Prada is so much better. So good.
Have you listened to Mice and Men?
Yes, I have. I like them.
Those are good too.
And then I do like a little bit of rap, but I just stick to, the classics. Dre, Eminem,
Yeah, those are good.
Okay, Bad Meets Evil.
I don't like Eminem, like his new stuff.
No, his new
Oh,
stuff
get out of
isn't that
here.
good.
Walk away.
But like Slim Shady,
His album. If you like Slim Shady, you like his new album.
Okay, his new album, is it good? It's
It's so good.
It's good, like, it sounds good, some of his songs, but the songs are all, like, talking crap, it's just negative vibes, like...
That's what he's talking about. Because he put out his Marshall Mathers CD, right? His Marshall Mathers one, the newer one, I think it was the LP2 or whatever, and it was all about him just... feeling better in his skin, being happier, having a better life. He did do a couple of his ex songs or his wife songs, but it was all just more positive stuff. And everyone hated it. Even though the bars were good, the lyrics were good, and it was a pretty good album, everyone was just like, oh, it's so bad. So in this new song, he tells why he's doing all the negatives. He's like, you guys, his new album, in one of the lyrics, he says, you guys wanted Shady, you got him. He's like, I put out my album, you guys... were all complaining about it, and he says he doesn't want to be Slim Shady, but that's what people are going to be doing, and it's because he's being negative because in his opinion rap is just bad now, and I agree. If you call yourself a mumble rapper, if you're starting up on SoundCloud, for the most part, I have met some good SoundCloud rappers. I have seen a few of them that I actually do respect to some degree, but I mean, if I can't understand you, you're not a good rapper. And this is coming from a guy who listens to metal. Like, you want to not understand lyrics? Listen to metal for the first time. I understand metal better than I understand most mumble rap. And so he's coming out and he's just like, and he says, unless you're Kendrick, Cole, or Sean, you're a goner. He's like, I'm coming after you. Because he says, these are the people I'm respecting. Everybody else. And then he respects a couple other people. So he gives out a shout out to Die Antwoord a bit ago, but then they trash talk him because he mispronounced their name. So he's just like, I'm gonna give you a shout out. You're gonna trash talk me. So forget you guys then.
Wow.
But it's the drama. Like, that was one of the encapsulating things with it is he's got MGK coming after him, and everyone thinks it's about the daughter. It's not about the daughter. He was talking crap before that, and he was calling Eminem out. So Eminem's like, because MGK went on with Tech 9. Called Eminem out on it, and he's like, if you want to use Tech 9 to come at me, that's not how it's going to be playing. So he came back at him. There was a rap artist, African American, who essentially came out and said, unless you're African American, you don't belong in rap. So Eminem, one of his responses on that album was, it was really lyrical. He just says, I'm coming into your house, I'm going to use your remote, I'm going to put my feet up, I'm going to relax. He's like, I belong here. And then that was him just saying to this guy, that rap is my house. And then he's like, I inspired all of these great rappers. He did a piece with Logic recently.
He did, yeah.
Logic's so good.
So that was him kind of, if he features with you, that's him saying, I've got some respect for you. He brought on Royce da 5'9", which was really cool to see him come back and rap, because I really respected him back in the day. And then he did a piece with that one guy on one of his songs. I can't remember his name, but... His album was negative, and he says it. He's like, I tried to put out an album. You guys crapped on it. So this is my response. You wanted Slim Shady, here's Slim Shady. And Slim Shady was always negative.
Yeah.
Slim Shady was never positive.
Yeah.
He was always, forget the government,
They
forget
had a
these
lot
pop
of
stars,
like
talk bad
heart
about these people.
in the songs, though. This
Yeah.
one, I feel like it's just like, when you have to write responses to everybody. Okay, this one's gonna be about this one. This one's gonna be about this guy. This one's gonna be about these people. Or whatever. And some of the songs just got weird.
Yeah,
They got weird. It's not about rap anymore. It was just about who can make the weirdest crap.
Yeah, but if you watch some of his Slim Shady stuff, I mean, there's an Untitled song in one of his albums that's just weird. That was Slim Shady. And, he did that stuff before. Underground, which was a song he put out, was just weird. So he has pieces that are just, he's always had pieces where he's like, this is what society says is untouchable. Now I'm going to touch it. And that's what Slim Shady does. He's always done that. So I'm going to disagree. I think this album had a lot of heart. And I think it was expressed in the fact that he was like, I helped. Rap saved me. Rap gave me comfort while I was being bullied.
Mm-hmm.
Rap gave me a life. Dre gave me a life who fathered rap. He's like, I feel very invested in rap. I feel like I helped try to create what I wanted rap to be. And now you guys are attacking rap. And you're not attacking rap by like attacking it with like swords or whatever. But you're attacking rap by trying to change it into something it's not, by trying to create this non-lyrical version of rap where rhyme scheme doesn't matter, where all you do is talk about, ice and the girls on your side and all of this stuff.
So dumb.
And it's I feel like the heart is expressed in, I have to turn back into Slim Shady, who I don't like, so that I can come and save rap.
That's interesting.
So that's my personal take on that album. I didn't like a couple songs, I'll be honest. I do agree with you. There were a couple songs where I really, I put most of the album into a playlist. There are a few songs where I didn't touch them. But I personally feel like he's really just expressing his heart in it and saying, you guys are trying to destroy something that I helped build. I'm not going to sit by and let that happen.
Yeah.
So.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love Eminem. I listen to at least one Eminem song a day just because he has just so many great songs. And especially the new album. We played it at the studio when it's just me and you doing some training and stuff.
It's high music to work to.
It's great music. There are just a couple weird ones that are weird. I like almost all music.
Absolutely.
Almost all music. Like, if you look at my playlist, it's a bunch of, like, weird everything. I got rap in there. I have, like, AFI, like, Boys Avenue, Bruno Mars, like, a little bit Cardi B, like, Childish Gambino's.
Backstreet Boys?
Yeah, Backstreet Boys.
I like Childish Gambino.
Childish Gambino's
so
great.
good. So
Like, and then I even have some, like, Ed Sheeran, and then Excision, I Set to Kill. So it's like, I'm all over the place. I even have, like, a little bit of country in here.
The only things I don't like, I used to always, when people ask me, like, what do you not like? What music do you like? I'd always say, everything except country and mumble rap. But I think I have to change that. I don't like music that doesn't have soul.
Yes.
When you come to like stadium country, where it's just some dude who flies around in a private jet and owns a New York condo.
And talk about tractors.
Yeah, and talk about tractors. I'm like, you don't belong. You don't have the heart to do that. I was actually watching a guy who did the what was that popular Billy Ray Cyrus song?
Achy Breaky Heart?
No. It's the new one.
I don't know.
Real popular, but he's just a guy on YouTube, Facebook, who did a cover of that song where he's actually like rapping.
Snake Doctor? Oh, Old Town Road?
Yeah, Old Town Road. He raps over it with his own lyrics, but he's like, I was raised on the farm. I moved to the city. Hated the city, moved back to the farm because that's what I want to do. But he's like, I still got, bars, so I'm going to still rap. And I was sitting there, I was like, it's not very good rap. I don't like the soundtrack of Country Road, but I was like, this guy actually makes it. And I was sitting there, and I'm like, it's because he's got the soul for it.
I love remixes.
He's like, I live on a farm. I work on a farm. My hands get bloody, bruised, and battered. So when he sings about, like, country, and he has that draw that makes it sound country, I'm like, okay, I'm fine, so, and there's been country songs where I'm listening, I'm like, Okay, and because you feel the soul in it. That's why I don't like mumble rap, is because I feel like it's just a fast, cheap, easy way that requires very little skill.
They're just making tons of money so they can put stuff in their mouth, or they can change their hair in a ridiculous way.
Yeah.
Also, here's another thing. Don't wear camo. Stop wearing camo.
What's wrong with camo?
It looks ridiculous.
No,
especially when people
you can't see it at all. That's the
my
point of
God,
camo.
That's the thing. My huge problem is that when people will wear military outfits, like they wear the camo pants, they start wearing like the army shirts or the camo shirts, and for some reason it irritates me. Stop wearing that stuff. It just doesn't fit into regular.
I'm gonna blend in with a Dollar Tree, so I'm gonna wear some camo.
And it doesn't. You don't blend in regular. regular everyday life in camo. You wear regular clothes. If you want to wear camo, you go hunting. You go out into the wilderness. That's where the camo is used for. Okay.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
I'm sorry, that was
like,
side
there's
rant.
so many fashions that I'm just like, ugh.
I know. I had to throw it
I
out there.
love the American flag. Love America. But then people that like wear it
that's weird.
on like their pants and shirt, I'm just like,
Don't do that. It's weird.
I don't like that. That's not cool. You know, that's just, I'm like, hang it up in your house.
Go America. We
You
love
know?
America and everything, but you don't need to do.
You ain't gotta wear America.
You know what you should
what I mean?
wear? Naruto.
I think that's, you know.
Except for like on Independence Day. Independence Day, it's acceptable.
Okay,
I
so
don't know. It's just tacky.
currently right now, the music I'm listening to, the artist that I've been listening to right now is NF.
Dude.
You like NF?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I
Amazing.
really enjoy NF.
Amazing.
Here's my problem.
I
Here's my
love-
only issue with NF. It's depressing.
It's very
It's
depressing.
so depressing.
It's so depressing.
But the emotion
It's
that
so-
he puts
it's
into
got so
his
much soul,
music
though. Oh
is
my-
so good.
It's-
Like you can feel like the pain. You can feel the emotion. You can feel how much work he actually put into the songs. And like the lyricism is beautiful. Like just the way he raps, the different flows he does.
There's some
It's
NF
really
songs in
nice.
our karate workout playlist.
Yeah. No, I'd agree. I enjoy them when they come on.
Mhm.
And I know the students like to work out to them. Not the kids so much, but the adults have pointed it out.
I'll put on NF and I'll listen to it all day. I'll
And
listen
the
to
great-
the same album for hours.
Yeah, the great thing about NF is that, you know, he has all these great messages and he has all this, like, strong messages in his songs, but he doesn't curse at all. So,
He doesn't.
So it's like, given, you can show it to anybody and they won't get offended.
Right.
Because he doesn't curse at all.
He doesn't talk about drugs, sex, alcohol, or anything like that. Nothing negative.
The only time he talks about drugs is in a song about his mom.
Right.
Because she died.
Right, but not about taking it or not about,
Right.
all that.
Right.
I know he mentions, drugs and sex and stuff like that a couple times, but it's always to call out other rappers.
Right.
For, he's like, how about you spend time actually rapping and singing about things, or rapping about things that matter, as opposed to
Right.
just talking about how many women you have on your arms and stuff like that. So
Here's the other
respect
thing,
that.
is that NF, since his thing is rapping about depressive things,
Yeah.
what happens when he becomes happy? Is he not going to be? Does he have anything to rap about anymore? When he buries his issue, when anger and fear are gone and they're buried, or he's got control over them, does he have anything left?
We'll see.
We'll see. I can't
That's when
wait.
he starts rapping about ice and women.
Okay,
He
but
becomes what he wants.
another
Dirt
great
he feared
bikes.
the most.
another great rapper that I listen to is Logic.
Logic
Logic's
is
so
really good. I like Logic. His new album stuff was a little bit different. It wasn't even like it was a lot less rap and more singing.
Yeah.
I didn't really like that. There's a few songs in there that I do really like. Bohemian Trap City.
Yeah.
Lucky Girl, I think it was.
Okay.
That's another good one. And I can't remember what the other one is, but you'll hear me play it. At the
My
studio
favorite
album.
song by Logic is 44 More.
44 More?
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard that. I need to look
Oh,
that
it's
up.
really good. I'll show you after the podcast, but yeah, it's great.
Okay.
I love that song. It's really good.
I don't know. I like Logic. Haven't heard too many songs from him. No.
Oh,
Anyone that echoes or at least tries to stick to what old rap was, I have respect for. So, Logic, NF feels that way. He does it in a very modern way where he actually is rapping, but he's really upset I feel a lot of times with how rap is turning out.
Yeah.
Very similar to Eminem's new album, where he's just like,
I do appreciate
Alright,
that they
the
call
way
out
it
mumble
is.
rappers.
oh my
I do
gosh,
appreciate
Okay,
yes,
though.
it's so
All
bad.
right, here's a hot topic question.
Okay.
Favorite Eminem song? There are a lot of good ones. Pick your favorite.
The one with about Dr. Dre.
Okay.
Which one?
Let's see if I
I
can
mean, he
find
mentions
this.
them in a lot.
No,
but I think I know which one you're talking about.
I think it's called Dr. Dre or something.
I'd have to say my favorite. I have most of my Eminem songs in categories of favorite for different reasons. there's quite a few. I really listen to Eminem. I really like the song "Like Toy Soldiers."
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Mockingbird's another good one.
Just because I feel
Yeah.
like Toy Soldiers has more emotion in it than most of his songs. Even when he's rapping about his mom or his family or stuff like that, I feel like he doesn't have as much as when he's rapping about his crew and the loss that they suffered just then, and how he was putting all this burden on his shoulders, and how he was trying to stay out of this battle and trying to stay out of Dre's beef because Dre told him to, and all that stuff. And it's just it's a really good song.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, you guys ready for my favorite?
Yes.
Stan.
Oh, Forget About Dre. It's Forget About Dre.
Oh yeah.
Oh, forgot about Dre?
Forgot. Thank you.
Yeah,
Forgot about
where it's him and Dre, and
Yep.
they're talking about how
I really enjoy that one.
people are forgetting about Dre and how he existed and how he's not a good rap artist anymore because he's
Or
spending his
When I'm
full time
Gone.
building his label now.
Oh,
When I'm Gone
pretty
was
good.
my
my
favorite
favorite.
of all time.
My favorite is Stan.
Stan's a really good one.
Stan's a good one.
Absolutely. I have some emotional attachment to the real Slim Shady, but that's
Yeah.
that's a
That's a
story for a
classic.
different time. It involves Hawaii. It was a emotional time,
Okay.
but I'm not gonna tell you a story on the
Okay.
podcast or ever.
Forever.
So.
That's fine.
You gave me that look like, ooh, story time. No, not story time. So, but yeah,
You can't tease us like that, Mr. Harris.
I am
I'm
sorry.
gonna get it out of him one of these days.
I have students that come up to me all the time, and like as they or teenagers, and they'll just be like, "Wow, I really don't know much about you, Mr. Harris." And I'm like, I really don't put myself out there too much. That's why
Yeah.
I'm excited about this podcast, because I kind of have to. I have to have
Keep to
opinions,
ourselves.
and I have to say things, and people have to hear those things, and it's a little new experience for me. But
Let's talk about motivation.
yes.
What songs get you motivated?
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
Metal.
Metal? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Any metal.
Anything in particular? No?
Any metal.
it gets
Good
you like.
drops in metal.
Oh, true.
Like when you're just sitting there, you're working out, and then you feel the drop. You're like, yeah, and then it hits. You're like, oh, and then you start
You're
doing your
just like,
workout,
"Ah!"
head banging at the same
The
time.
adrenaline just goes
You
through
go like
you.
Super Saiyan. It's great.
Mr. Renfro, what about you?
That it depends, honestly. Like metal, it really depends on the day. Sometimes I'm just like in a metal mood. Sometimes I'm in more of a Eminem mood. It just depends on the day. But yeah, any of those songs that are like more upbeat and stuff like that.
Okay. Have you guys ever looked up motivational videos on YouTube?
Oh, yeah.
Or like speakers that have the background music behind it. So, shout out to Chris Springfield. He sent me this video that I really enjoyed. I'm going to share it on the page. It's a Jocko, which I'm definitely going to start looking at Jocko a little bit more. He's really into BJJ and stuff. He does this motivation about good, the word good. And it's like when life gets you down, when something bad happens in your life, good. That's good, because something good is going to come out of it. You can walk around, you can mope around all day, but when you take that issue, when you take that negative thing that happens in your life and then you can turn it around, that's when you're going to become better. That's how you're going to move out of that shell. That's how you're going to, be able to hit those goals that you set for yourself. It's a really good one. I'll post it up there. You guys tell me what you think about it.
Absolutely. No.
Do you guys have
Yes.
any motivational songs that you've heard that just really hit you?
I don't know.
If you don't, I can send you some because
I more resonate with motivational speakers.
Yeah.
And I'm really careful when I do motivational stuff because you run into a lot of YouTubers who try to put out their motivational stuff for fans, and then you run into a lot of people like Katy Perry and stuff like this that put motivation. One of my more favorite artists, Bo Burnham.
I love Bo Burnham.
Does a piece where he calls out, all the people that gain these motivations from these motivational lyrics that are designed to better people, because a lot of people's motivations just come down to, you're feeling down, just do this one other thing. Like Katy Perry's Roar, You get down, all you got to do to solve your problems is just roar like a lion. And you'll feel brave and you'll feel powerful. And I'm a big fan of, mindsetting.
Yeah.
But the answer to problems and the answers to life's toughest questions is not just going to be something simple like...
Yell.
Just yell. Just do this. When I'm getting tired in a class, I'll yell. I'll just be like, "Rah!" And I'll feel better.
Most
I'll
of
gain
it's
more
going to
energy,
be motivation to keep going.
Yeah.
Not give up.
And it's the problem is you've got to be working through those situations. So I like a lot of the more motivational talks because they get into that a little bit more and they build into it a little bit more. So I'm always really careful when I get into motivation, because even a lot of motivational speakers are just like, well, you just got to do this. You just got to do this, Are you having a bad day? Do this one thing. Are you having a bad, week? Do this one thing. Did this bad thing happen to you? Do this one thing. And it's the same answer for every question. And I'm like, it's not. That's, in my opinion, that's just a lot of motivational speakers, a lot of motivational songs are just all about temporarily pushing our problems to the side so that we can feel good in that one moment. Mm-hmm. And I think that's good to some degree.
Like a Band-Aid.
Yeah, but
it ain't gonna fix it.
Yeah, you've got to sit down and you've got to work through and you've got to understand. So when it comes to motivational, I just really think, you've got to find someone who's personalized, who works with you, who talks with you, and all that stuff. So
yeah, there's a good motivational speaker on YouTube. His name is Eric Thomas, and he's really good. He's the guy who talked about the I think we've all heard this one before, but he's the one who talks about the monk holding the guy under, or the guru holding the guy underwater.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
If you want to succeed as badly as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that talk.
So, yeah, that's Eric Thomas. Yeah, I really respect him. He's a really cool dude.
He's a really good one. Yeah, absolutely. I just, just be careful when you do it. I think pop music's great, but, try to understand that you've got to have good answers to these questions, and you're not going to find them on your own. So just by making yourself feel better, by chanting some one-word phrase, or by, trying to think of this one thing that'll make you feel better, or, remembering that your life is better than other people's, I don't think that's effective or helpful, as far as long-term solutions go.
Okay. One last thing I'm going to put up on the page here is going to be a nutritional helper for anyone that wanting to stay on your nutrition or having a hard time on what to choose to set up your plate and what proportions to use. Choose My Plate. It's what to eat, healthy, but not sure what to eat just in general. So it's like, what do I need for grains? What do I need for carbs? What do I need for vegetables? If you have special diet plans, it can go through it as well. It has really good information on it. I'll throw up the link on the website, guys. Check it out. It's a good one.
On the Facebook.
On the Facebook.
Yes, I haven't quite figured out how to do links on the website yet, but we'll get there.
Awesome.
It's a good one. Mr. Renfro, do you have anything else?
No, I think I'm good.
Mr. Harris?
I've got some stuff to talk about,
Woo!
but we are not going to get into that today because we have
Hawaii?
not a lot of time. We're not
Hawaii.
talking about Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Don't you add that. All right, guys. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in with us today at the Punch Pass Podcast. Mr. Renfro, thank you for being our guest today. And Mr. Harris, looking fantastic. we're going to go and end this podcast.
All right, you guys have a great day. And remember, please respond, like, comment. If you comment, we will try to answer your questions in the next podcast. And, we're trying to reach out to more people. So if you feel comfortable, share this information. Not doing it for any money, but we just want to
Just having fun.
have more people hear us, have more people listen, and maybe change some extra lives.
And if you comment Mr. Renfro is better than Mr. Harris and Mr. Vidra, I'll give you an extra high five.
I'll fight you.
I'll win.